in my next life, when I come back, I want to be someone in the WTA because they ride on the coattails of the men. They don't make any decision, then they're lucky. They're very, very lucky. If I was a lady player, I'd go down every night on my knees and thank God that a Roger Federer and a Rafa Nadal were born, because they've carried the sport.
How's this for awkward? Moore was the one handing Williams the runner-up trophy after the match. Serena is among those now speaking out on behalf of female players.
Comment, you have to have history and you have to have facts and you have to know things and you have to know of everything. I mean, you look at someone like Billie Jean King, who opened so many doors for not only women tennis players but women athletes in general. So I feel like that is such a disservice to her and every female, not only a female athlete, but every woman on this planet that has ever tried to stand up for what they believe in and just being proud to be a woman.
Thank you guys for...
And you know what is a fact? Serena Williams has the most Grand Slam titles of any current player, male or female. Joining me now is Katie Underwood, associate editor of Chatelaine magazine, and you're seeing a lot of negative reaction. No surprise there.
Yeah, I think that's to be expected. I mean, far and above being very sexist and kind of a train wreck start to finish, his comments were pretty factually incorrect. Like you said, Serena's won 21 Grand Slam titles, 4 Olympic medals. She's got the 3rd highest pocket purse of any tennis champion, regardless of gender. So to attribute her success to something like riding the coattails of, her male counterparts is pretty off the mark.
Yeah, just downright wrong. And I know that Chatelaine did a feature last year when Serena Williams was named onto the Sports Illustrated cover, but it wasn't about all the accomplishments you just rang off, which is a long list for Serena. It was more about it's the first female on the cover.
Right, and I think the unfortunate thing is when you're talking about athletes or even musicians, it always has to have that qualifier first, right? It's a female musician, it's a female athlete, and I think it was pretty ridiculous last year because people weren't talking about her athletic prowess. They were talking about how unfortunate it was that a Triple Crown winning horse named American Pharoah wasn't Sports Person of the Year,
of course,
which it's obviously problematic,
yes.
But it kind of just shows you the sexism that is still inherent in sports, even in 2016.
And we see it a lot of times in tennis, especially. We look at someone like Canadian Eugenie Bouchard, who was asked to twirl after winning her match instead of asked, how did you overcome, how did you win this match? And those are big problems too, right? This is an issue that lies within tennis greatly.
Totally, and I think that it's really unfortunate because you have women who are, world-class athletes being asked to, give a twirl, or being criticized for their appearance in a tennis skirt or how loudly they make noises when they're playing. And these are questions that basically are not ever presented to male athletes.
Yeah.
Very often, there are questions of their physicality is brought into question as opposed to something like, their skill, which is sad.
Now, with females you're trying to get girls interested in sport, playing in sport. You want to empower them. How do you get the message out to them? What is the message now that we have to drive home when these kinds of things are still prevalent?
Well, I think it's problematic because you have someone who is a high-ranking tennis official saying things like this. So it's not very good for the optics, but I think that, looking to women like Serena Williams or Billie Jean King, who actually won the Battle of the Sexes in 1973. So,
which was amazing.
Which was amazing. Women can be champions. I mean, I wasn't there to witness it, but I heard it was great. But it just goes to show you that, women can be powerhouses in sport and, irrespective of their gender and their size and their weight and all these things that are talked about so frequently.
Are you surprised this is still something we're dealing with in 2016?
I mean, yes and no. I think that, ideally, if people think these things, they wouldn't say them out loud on television. But, I think this is a good learning moment for people, and hopefully this can open up conversation around, sexism in sport and ways to make it better for women in the field.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Katie, for joining me.